Hello everyone. Today we are diving into a transformative new feature in Google Ads, the brand report. For a long time, proving that demand generation campaigns actually drive brand lift was treated as an act of faith rather than a data-driven science. The brand report changes that paradigm by tying your branded search volume directly to demand gen spend over time. As the chart on this slide illustrates, branded search clearly follows spend. This tool turns upper funnel activities from a mystery into a readable, actionable line on a chart that even your CFO will respect. By finally proving that demand gen drives brand lift, we can bridge the gap between initial awareness and the final search query, providing a holistic view of the customer journey that was previously invisible in standard reporting dashboards. The primary problem we face today is that the upper funnel often dies in a last-click world. In traditional reporting, demand gen builds the demand, but last-click attribution gives all the credit to the branded search it created. Consequently, demand gen looks unprofitable and is often the first line item to be cut. From the perspective of last-click, DG shows few direct sales despite high spend, making it look like a money pit. The verdict from finance is usually to kill the budget. However, what actually happens is that DG manufactures demand. People discover you, then search your name later. Branded search then steals the credit for the conversion. Those cheap branded clicks convert and take the glory, while the pipeline that DG built is completely ignored. We need a way to stop this cycle of undervaluation. So, what does the brand report actually show us? It plots your demand gen activity against branded search demand over time, making the lift you always suspected something you can finally point at. It does three critical things. First, it correlates spend with demand by overlaying impressions against branded query volume week over week. Second, it reveals both the lift and the lag, showing the delayed bump in searches that happens after a campaign flight, an effect last click is blind to. Finally, it speaks your CFO's language by presenting a rising demand curve rather than just vanity metrics. It frames upper funnel value as actual growth, not just hope. It changes the fundamental question from "did this specific click convert?" to "did this entire campaign successfully create new demand in the market?" Inside the report, we find 6 key signals that answer the questions skeptics have used to kill budgets for years. We track branded search volume as a baseline for mental availability. We use the demand gen overlay to see spend layered directly against that demand. We can distinguish between new versus returning searchers to separate freshly created demand from existing fans. We analyze geographic lift to see exactly where DG moved the needle. We identify the lag window to see how long it takes for searches to rise after a flight. Lastly, we compare baseline versus incremental demand to isolate what DG genuinely added to the mix. The common thread here is that every single view turns the "trust me" argument into a chart that someone in finance will actually believe and support. Turning this report into a compelling budget case requires 4 deliberate steps. Step 1. Establish the baseline by charting branded search before scaling DG. This is your demand without us line. Step 2. Overlay your DG flights to mark when campaigns were active and scaled. Step 3. Measure the lift and the lag, noting how long the delay runs after a flight. Step 4. Attribute the value by tying incremental demand to revenue, then defend the budget with it. For the fastest gut check possible, try pausing demand gen for 2 weeks and watch whether your branded search volume dips. If it does, you have the immediate empirical proof of your impact. This systematic approach ensures that your marketing strategy is backed by undeniable evidence of contribution to the bottom line. While powerful, we must avoid 5 common traps when reading this report. First, do not mistake correlation for causation. Always validate with geo-holdouts. Second, do not ignore seasonality, as festive periods like Q4 lift everything naturally. Third, do not miss the lag window by judging a flight the same week it occurs. Brand demand builds on a delay. Fourth, beware of counting cannibalized demand. Only incremental lift matters, not gross volume. Finally, do not stop at the chart. A pretty curve is not incrementality until it is paired with rigorous holdout tests before you stake your entire budget on it. By dodging these pitfalls, you turn a simple correlation into a credible causal story that will hold up under the most intense financial scrutiny during budget season. To conclude, let's look at the brand report playbook. It is a simple, repeatable cycle. First, baseline your demand to define what the world looks like without your efforts. Second, measure the lift by overlaying spend, marking flight dates, and identifying the lag. Third, defend your budget by tying that demand to revenue and framing it as a growth curve rather than just another KPI. The core takeaway is simple. Demand gen was never unprofitable, it was just unmeasured. Now, with the brand report, you have the tools to prove the demand you are building and ensure your marketing efforts are recognized for their true value. Put this demand curve on your CFO's desk before the next budget season starts. Thank you for your attention today. If your advertising isn't delivering the results you expect, the problem may not be the budget, it may be the strategy. At Namster Marketing, we help businesses turn advertising into a predictable growth engine. Book a free consultation with our team, and let's explore how we can help scale your results.